And there have been times when we wanted to use things from the EU, and I was like, yeah, but we can't use it that way, so why? I don't want to use it and change it.
Losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
I watch it, so you don't have to. Yeah, there you go. Well, as I said in one of my other videos, if there's anything that's good for the hurricane, it saved you guys from having to watch me rant about Ahsoka twice. I'm only going to do it once because I didn't do the last episode. Right. So, okay, episode 3 and 4. Let me say this with 3, we'll do the recap. I just felt like it's the talking, pausing, pacing issue. It's this anyone can be a force user nonsense.
You serious?
Uninteresting and bland performances. I just couldn't. I mean, Rosario Dawson is actually a talented enough actress to deliver lines, but they have her as basically like a head of cabbage, just moving from scene to scene, standing there. And it's like Sabine is this social justice warrior, not Jedi yet, but will be a Jedi person that I don't care that much about because she's just off-putting. And they feel Filoni wants his cake and eat it too. He wants to sound like he's loyal and faithful to the canon and the lore and even his own creations. And then he does things that are very much the antithesis of what we've already seen. So it's hard to understand. And by the way, we at the audience we really, really can't get our head around the stakes and what's going on, where we are in the timeline. It's like Mando takes place after Jedi, but this is taking place between Mando 2 and 3, but it's before the Book of Boba Fett, or we don't understand enough sometimes to get our head around where we're at, because and if we do, and this is why they don't have a strategic plan, because if they do, then we would ask different questions. So
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
let's run through the recap very, very briefly. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of prepping, a lot of back and forth. There's like sort of tension, but there's never really tension. Sabine, of course, has was struck down with a lightsaber or run through, but we don't kill people with lightsabers in Disney Star Wars, so all that's there. We have the irritating droid Huang. Huang is the lecturing philosophical droid that is made bland, made David Tennant's voice bland, and I didn't think that was as possible as they've made it, but that's where we are. Don't know exactly why. So their chase and all of this, the fight scene. This is where we get the ridiculous Ahsoka flipping in the last episode, where it's like the fighters don't shoot the ship; they're going to shoot at Ahsoka. She's going to create a distraction while Sabine works her female magic and restores the ship. And it's nothing's really explained, but the flip is something that just makes my head hurt watching that scene of the flipping. I so anyway, that's notwithstanding. Then they basically land in the Red Forest from the set of Star Trek, and that's where we are, and we're going to pick up from there. They don't have juice, they don't have power, and they're just going to talk for a while because the pacing is unbearable. Like, it's so slow and methodical, and we're building and we're building. And then it's sort of like, okay, we're going to have this credit, but before there, it's like, go get them, go get them. But on this one shot, I wanted to get to it because this didn't make any sense to me. And hopefully someone at home is going to get it for me, because right here. Okay, so on the right, there's a little movement. I'm going to get copyright, so I got to pause it there. But on the far right, there's this movement of one of those droids, one of the landmine head droids. And it's like, well, they're just standing around. And I'm like, okay, because you made the mistake in episode 1 of having them like their heads explode and basically look like a nuclear blast and wasteland that goes off. It's silly to have them just standing around and not blowing themselves up. Like roll 20 of them in there and blow them up. But we don't step back and go, all right, well, that wouldn't work. That doesn't make sense. You're right. We should do this instead. It's like we don't ever have those story element conversations in developing these shows. They just throw things against a wall, and we're all supposed to just enjoy it and take it for what it is. All right, go get them. All right, go get them.
You ready to have some fun? Let's do it.
This is Marak. This is Darth Aurora. Her name is Shin. We say Shin finally like 16 times. So if you don't know, she's Shin. She looks ridiculous. She's got her little Padawan braid and her little fake hair wig, and she looks like she's 100 pounds wet with her dark eyeliner on. And okay.
Her humanity can expand our understanding of...
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Okay, so there's tension now to fix the ship and do things, and they're coming their way. There's droids there. So instead of having the droids engage or do something and then having this like massively escalate very, very quickly, nope, they're going to talk and talk. And outside, there's going to be, Hoang, who doesn't quite know exactly how to fix the ship properly. They lose power, and it just messes up all of the pacing in this scene. This should have just been like one blast moment after another. And instead, it's like this tension building. Okay, slow it way down. And it's like, why did they do that? Why did they waste a minute and a half, 2 minutes of just talking about what? Oh, she's afraid. Will you do the right thing? Getting Ezra. Like, we're all just sick of you talking about it. We know enough information. Let's get on with it.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
Nitpicky. I'm a Rebels noob, evidently, because what I've seen of Rebels didn't stick enough for me to get all of the things that I'm supposed to get out of this show. But why are her lightsabers blue? Why are they not? Why are we not? Why do we have white lightsabers? Ahsoka has white lightsabers. I thought she had colored lightsabers, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought she had different colored lightsabers in the show. I thought they were mostly like a blue and a purple or something like that. But it seems like in this show, I thought she had green. I remember green. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. I did not think they were white. I feel like they made them white because that looked best for the CGI. That's what I feel. And then there's just like this slow, methodical walking before we cut away to Hera. And if you remember Hera, who looks like horrible cosplay, because the makeup in this show is so distracting for me because Ahsoka and Hera have this perfect cosplay painted on skin color, and there's no blemishes, there's no texture, there's nothing that looks real. Okay. She was told, even though she's a general, by the political bosses that, oh no, you can't go. Well, she's a general, so she's going to now do what she should have just done and not ask for permission. She should have been, screw you, I'm a general, I'm doing it. Well, we're not giving you resources to go and help them and investigate. And it was such a dumb scene. This is episode 3. Sorry.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war, and that's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is dead.
Well, there's no evidence. There is evidence because we have this massive hyperdrive. I have a tracker on it. We have a video hologram of these two force-powered beings. I'm assuming they wouldn't call them Sith, or they wouldn't make the mistake of. We don't know if they're Sith or not. Would have been part of the conversation. That would have made sense. Instead, it's like, oh, we don't have evidence. You can't go. Well, screw that. She's going to go anyway. So it was just a waste of our time to have all that interaction. We could have had her reporting to them what she's doing and conveying the information, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
So then we get this sequence where she heads out, and for some reason, she's bringing her son, Jason. Now, don't know why. Seems like a really terrible, dumb idea to take him into harm's way. There's dangerous force users. They have some sort of massive hyperdrive thing that is like multiple galaxy transportation device thing. Why would she bring her son? Don't know. Doesn't make any sense. And then to come to find out, she's also going out with X-Wing people. She's got X-Wing. Oh, remember that guy? Remember that guy? It's like, is that what we're supposed to? This is Star Wars. Star Wars is now self-referential. Star Wars isn't about the philosophy or the character. We want to do a show about Ahsoka because we want to show her character from this point to this point and grow and become this to this. We want to showcase this story, or we want to do this for this character. We want to do this for that character. Instead, we we got this guy from that show. Remember the guy who, I mean, he could be the Karate Kid guy. He could be. I mean, this is just so irritating. And she's not just taking resources, like she just took the ghost ship and headed out. She's like taking a bunch of X-Wing fighters with her. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. And there's really no pushback. There's just the black guy on the dock going, well, what am I supposed to say? I guess I'll have to think of something to say. And I guess that's supposed to be funny. It would have been funnier had it been like a 3PO droid or something, maybe. Okay, so now we cut to Baylan, Ray Stevenson, who is still by far the most interesting. Well, it's mostly because he's mysterious, but in this episode, he becomes less mysterious character. And then Morgan, the worst named character so far in even Disney Star Wars. Like, I mean, there's probably been, I don't know, I shouldn't say that, but it's one of like Morgan. Like, what? Anyway, she's the witch. The witch. We gotta burn her because she's a witch. She's going to use her magic and open the map. And we have this map. Sorry, I got ahead of myself here. This map thing starts to unwind and starts to show the pathway for this hyperdrive thing. And that's the premise of this thing. We've had to have this map do all this stuff. Okay. Well, then Shin and the Morok, and they show up to confront. So Morok's going to go against Ahsoka. And then Shin and Sabine are going to have a rematch. This was fine. I didn't mind any of this, except that it took too long for Ahsoka to take down Morok. And then what I don't quite get with the Morok thing is it's sort of like, I'm not quite dead yet. And then he sort of like just becomes like dust. So is that a thing? Like, does this mean that he's basically just a product of the witch? Because if that's all he really is, then why didn't she make like 6 of them? Anyway, this battle should not last more than like 2 seconds. Like, I mean, she's completely incompetent. She couldn't move the cup. The whole point is that she's inexperienced. She shouldn't have survived being stabbed. But this is just dumb. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense on why this is happening. Cut back. They got the map and the coordinates. She's made her way into where this is. Oh, but yeah, Morgan just leaves. She uses her magic, her witch magic. And then now you have to have exposition between Ray Stevenson and Ahsoka. And a whole lot of things that just make you want to raise your hand in class to go, wait a minute, did Baylan just say he knew Anakin become Vader? Because again, we're back to that. Like, between that and the Reva situation with all of Kenobi, how many people knew? Because I thought this would be, I thought the part of what made Vader work was that nobody knew. And instead, it's like everybody knew. Well, everybody knew who Anakin was. Well, yeah, but you shouldn't have known that he become Vader. Your presumption should have been he was killed with Order 66 like the other Jedi, and there's this Vader figure now on the scene. That should have been your presumption. And there's some tit for tat and back and forth. And it's fine. She comes across as being almost too smug for Ahsoka. Like, the jovial fun element of Ahsoka is long gone. And that's the part that I actually enjoyed. I always thought that killing her off would have been a massive step towards Anakin moving towards the dark side. And instead we've kept her around because, Dave Filoni created her. And now she sort of like doesn't have a place and a purpose in the grand scheme of the Star Wars universe. Where he does it. The show is just silly in that regard. Again, she draws only one saber and not 2 to fight him. Now, she does hold it opposite how she's been holding it at times. She's only using one. They continue to fight. It's dumb. Oh, and Disney does continue to do the spark thing when their lightsaber strike is super irritating. She gets the upper hand, but she doesn't die. Right. So that's fine. Keep on going. She gets away because she uses her Mandalorian tech, which is fine, which, to be honest, that saving her, or at least buying her some time, makes some sense. And then they show up, and there's a little bit of a battle, but Ahsoka gets knocked over the edge. And then Sabine shows up. And in fact, Baylan only gets the upper hand because she thinks, Ahsoka thinks that, and it's a funny shot, that Sabine's dead, like Sabine fell. So that's the only reason she got the upper hand, the emotions. So then there's just lecturing. Daddy's talking to child about, you love Ezra. We have to put this thing on there so we can go find Ezra too. The only way that you'll know about Ezra is if you let us go to Thrawn. We're all want the same thing. We're all just going to be one big happy, not family or something. It just, again, why should I care about this character? She's rebellious and that because of the first episode where she's not want to be part of the party of the community that wants to celebrate her. No, she wants to go ride on a speeder bike and lift a metal punk rock music. Or she's going to escape in her emo room where she can mull over Ezra, who basically tells her he just wants to be a friend. Or the fact that she wants to have this on again, off again tension between Ahsoka over being a Force user, not Mando, Jedi training, cut her hair, and then now it's about it. I think Dave Filoni thinks he's writing a complex character. He's just writing an emotional teenager that I'm not going to care about when she's struck down. And God forbid she's going to become a Jedi and actually matter, which is my fear in all of this. So here's the map. They get the coordinates. Hoang is finally communicating to General Hera because we wasted all that time from episode 3 till now to get Hera and the X-Wings there. And Hoang is not communicating to Ahsoka, only to General Hera. And there's Miyagi-Do, X-Wing pilot. I don't know his freaking name. What's his name? He also has a dumb name, right? His name is Carson. Yeah, again, dumb. Just dumb. Okay, sure. Look how smug. See, so much of this show is just women. So the only difference between the women in this show and the women in like Special Ops Lioness, which I've complained about, is in this show they just walk and talk and pause and look smug. And in Lioness, they do all of that, and then they just tell people to F off and shut up and blah, blah, blah. That's the only difference between the way these women are being characterized. It's all just so uninteresting and off-putting. I'm not caring about any of them. I kind of care about Ahsoka in this episode, because it is by far the best episode of the season so far, which, again, that bar is exceedingly low. Because Ahsoka at least gets emotional, and you see some investment in her and her commitment to Sabine and the cause and all of that. So this kind of moves along before these guys are coming in to fight, and they just go headstrong into it. They don't know what they're doing. And we missed a spot. We got to come back because Morgan, girl boss, just says, go ahead and jump. And he's like, I have a bad feeling about this. That's such an awful. Oh, he doesn't say this. He says, I have a bad feeling, but not about this. So it's just like, oh, I see what you did there. They jump to light speed. They kind of pull the Last Jedi into hyperspace, but it doesn't shred all of the ships. It just knocks everyone around like a NASCAR crash. So that's what we do now. We just do that so we can explain. We have some stuff happen, but we don't want to kill main characters we want to keep around like Hera and Jason. So, but the not Empire escapes to hyperspace to go to wherever it is they're going to go find Thrawn and essentially Ezra. And there's chaos here with Hera and a couple of the X-Wing pilots, which we assume is Miyagi-Do. And then Ahsoka, of course, is not dead. And what we find with Ahsoka is she wakes up, and this is where we get into the area. I see, this is the part where people are like, oh, you should watch Rebels, watch Clone Wars. And here's the thing. I have two or three huge things. And one of them is Darth Maul, the resurrection of Darth Maul. I hated that. I hate the idea that we're going to resurrect Darth Maul. Should have just had Darth Maul's brother be the one. That would have been fine. Because I know he was part of the show, but it's like he should have just been the new Sith Lord or whatever, train of Portally, whatever. They didn't kill off Ahsoka, and then they did this whole time travel world between worlds thing stuff. And I assume that's what we're going for at the end of this show, where she just wakes up and she's got like the bump on her head and she hears the voice and we see this. And the de-aging on this shot, now again, this is just one little quick shot. The de-aging on this shot looks so bad. It might as well have just been like a hologram or an image or a 3D, something like that. It just looks like an AI thing. It doesn't look proper. But I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater because it's just like shot. But it just goes to show that I'm not particularly invested in seeing all this. I don't know. Best episode of the show so far. Again, 4 minutes of nonsense at the end of these things. Best show of the season so far. We're halfway. Things finally happened. It didn't need to take 3 episodes to get us to this point. 4 episodes probably should have been 2. We should be like 1 hour into this story because I'm at the theory now where these things should be 1.5 to 2 hour movies and not 6-8 episode seasons. And we can get an 1.5 to 2 hour movie out of these things, and we would actually have decent Star Wars. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to break canon. I'm just saying we would have decent. It would be good. Part of it's the pacing, wasted time, talking, walking, pauses, wasted little subplot things that don't even go anywhere or completely are usurped by something that happens later on. So we didn't need 3 episodes to get to this point. By far the best episode, but even then, with tons of questions and issues and things like that. So doesn't save Star Wars? No. Does it save the season even? Yeah, no. Is it the worst Disney Star Wars? Oh, definitely not. It's definitely not as bad as Book of Boba Fett. It's not canon destructive like Kenobi is, but then again, I'm not married to the Rebels and Clone Wars canon, so I could be wrong. There's things there that's doing. I don't quite get the fascination with all of this and Ezra and whatever. Like if the whole point of this is just to undo what Ezra's sacrifice is and to do the Thrawn thing, I don't understand. But there is an Heir of the Empire line which just grated on me, and that's just because I enjoy the Heir to the Empire. It's very special because it's part of the new Star Wars that we got in the 90s before the prequels, kind of saving Star Wars, rejuvenating Star Wars as a fandom. And I hate that it's being bastardized in this show. So anyway, that's my take on it. I know it's long, 2 episodes. See you next time. I watch it, so you don't have to. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.